My name is David. I live in a small town in Spain. My town is quiet. The streets are small. There is a cafe near my house. There is a park with trees and birds. I like to walk there in the morning. I sit on a bench and watch the people. One day, I sat on that bench and asked myself a question. What if I could speak English? It was a simple question, but it was important. I thought about the world. I thought about people in other countries. I wanted to travel. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to understand them. I wanted to talk with them, but I could not. My English was very basic. I could say hello, thank you, and I want water, but that was all. I felt sad. I felt small. English was everywhere. I saw it in movies. I saw it on the internet. I saw it on my phone. I even saw English words on food in the supermarket. But I could not use it. It was like a door I could not open. I wanted to change that. I wanted to open that door. So, I made a decision. I joined an English class in my town. The class was at a small language school. I went there on Monday morning. I was nervous. My hands were cold. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to expect. There were 6 students in the class. They were from different countries. One girl was from Brazil. One man was from Turkey. One woman was from China. The others were from Poland and Italy. They were all different, but we had one thing in common. We wanted to speak English. Then, the teacher came into the room. Her name was Sarah. She was from England. She smiled at us. Her smile was warm and kind. She said, "Good morning." Her voice was slow and soft. I felt a little better. She said, "Welcome to the class. Today is a new beginning. In this class, we will talk. We will learn together, and we will enjoy it." Her words were simple, but they gave me hope. Then she said something I will always remember. English is not just a language. English is a bridge. It connects people. I wrote that sentence in my notebook. It felt true. It felt strong. Sarah asked us, "Why do you want to learn English?" The girl from Brazil said, "I want to travel to America." The man from Turkey said, "I want to get a good job." The woman from China said, "I want to understand English movies." Then it was my turn. I said, "I want to talk to people from other countries." Sarah smiled and said, "These are all good reasons. English is not only for school, it is for life." People use English in airports, in hotels, on the internet, in shops, and in meetings. English is everywhere. I looked around. Everyone was listening. Everyone wanted the same thing. We wanted to connect. We wanted to grow. Then Sarah gave us a small activity. She said, "Take a piece of paper. Imagine it is 6 months in the future. Write a postcard to yourself. What are you doing with your English?" I closed my eyes and thought. Then I wrote, "Hello from London. I am sitting in a cafe with a friend from Japan. We're talking in English. We laugh. I understand him. He understands me. I feel proud. I feel happy." That small paper felt like a dream, but it also felt possible. I looked at it again and again. Maybe one day, it could be real. After that, we played a small game. We sat in a circle. We said our names, where we were from, and one thing we liked. I said, "My name is David. I am from Spain. I like jazz music." The girl from Brazil said, "Me too." We smiled. It was the first connection. Sarah said, "English is not about being perfect. It is about sharing. It is about understanding." That made me feel safe. I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to try. At the end of class, Sarah gave us 3 simple ideas. First, write one short sentence in English every day. It can be simple, like "I went to the store" or "I feel tired." This is called an English Moment Journal. Second, talk about your dreams. Every Friday, one student will describe their dream in English. The others will guess. It helps with new words. It helps with confidence. Third, listen for English in the real world. Then write down one sentence you hear and bring it to class. This is called the connection wall. Sarah said, "When you listen, you learn. When you share, we all grow." That night, I walked home with a smile. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel small. I felt ready. I felt that I had taken my first step. I opened my notebook and wrote,
English is not something I study. It is something I want to live. I don't want to wait. I want to start now, and so I did. After my first class, I felt excited. For the first time, I believed that English was not too difficult. I could do it. I just needed to take one step at a time. I still knew only a few words, but I was ready to learn more.
The next day, I came to class early. Sarah, our teacher, was already there. She said, "Today we will talk about learning new words." One student raised her hand. Her name was Anna. She was from Poland. She said, "I want to learn more words, but I forget them quickly. What should I do?" Sarah smiled and said, "That is a good question. I will tell you a secret. The best way to learn words is not with lists. The best way is reading." At first, I was surprised. Reading, that's it. Sarah said, "When you read, you see the same words again and again. Your brain remembers them. You don't need to try hard. You don't need to write them 10 times. Just read, every day. Only 30 minutes. That sounded simple. I liked reading, but I only read in Spanish. I never tried reading full stories in English. Sarah gave us a small story. It was about a girl who went to a big city. The words were simple. I started to read. I understood most of it. One word was new for me. Station. I looked it up in my dictionary. It meant a place for trains or buses. I kept reading. I saw the word again. This time, I remembered it. That day, I learned 5 new words. I didn't write them down. I didn't repeat them many times, but I remembered them. I felt good. I wanted to read more. After class, I went to the library. I asked the librarian, "Do you have easy books in English?" She smiled and showed me a small section. I took 2 books. One was a story. The other was about London. That evening, I read the story. I didn't stop at every new word. I just read. I looked at the pictures. I guessed the meaning from the sentence. I felt like a real English reader. The next day, Sarah talked about speaking. She said, "Some students know the words, but people don't understand them. Why? Because they don't pronounce the words clearly." Then she told us about a method called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say. You speak at the same time, like a shadow. At first, it felt strange. I was not used to speaking like that. But Sarah showed us a video. A man said, "Good morning. I am very happy to be here." We listened and repeated. We did it slowly, then again, and again. I started to enjoy it. My mouth moved in a new way. My tongue learned to say new sounds. I practiced shadowing every day. I chose short videos on YouTube. I listened, then I spoke with the video. Only 10 minutes each day, but it helped me speak better. Now, I had more words. I could speak more clearly. But I still had one problem. I always thought in Spanish. Before I spoke English, I translated in my head. It made me slow. It made me nervous. Sarah told us, fluent people don't translate. They think in English. You can do that too. Just start with small things. So I started with one word. When I saw the sun, I said sun in my head. When I ate bread, I said bread. Then I made short sentences. I walk to school. I drink tea. I feel tired. I didn't speak out loud. I just thought in English. At first, it felt strange. But after some days, it felt normal. One morning, something special happened. I woke up and remembered my dream. In the dream, I spoke English. I didn't translate. I just talked. It was a short dream, but it felt big. It showed me that my brain was learning. Now, I try to think in English every day. When I walk, I look around and name things. Tree, dog, red car. When I cook, I say in my mind, "Now I cut the tomato. Now I boil the water." It helps me think faster in English. It helps me feel more natural. Sarah also gave us a game called Silent Dialogues. We imagine a short conversation in English. We ask a question, then we answer it. For example, "What's your name?" "My name is David." Or "Do you like music?" "Yes, I love jazz." I played this game while riding the bus or waiting in line. It made me smile. It made me feel confident. I also started something new. Every day, I went for a walk and talked to myself in English in my mind. I called it my English walk. It was my favorite time of day. Slowly, English was not just something I studied. It became something I used. It was not only in the classroom. It was in my thoughts, in my routine, in my dreams. I was not perfect. I still made mistakes. But I could speak. I could think. I could understand more. And most of all, I was not afraid. I knew that I was moving forward. Step by step, word by word, thought by thought. I was turning words into voice. I still remember the first day I spoke English to a stranger. It was a sunny morning. I was walking to school when I saw a tourist standing on the street corner. He looked lost. He had a big map in his hand. I stopped and asked, "Do you need help?" He smiled and said, "Yes, please. I'm looking for the train station." I showed him the way and said, "Go straight and then turn left." He said, "Thank you so much." I smiled and said, "You're welcome." That conversation was only 2 minutes. But it felt big to me. I used English. I helped someone. And I understood everything. I felt proud. That was the moment I realized something important. English was no longer only a subject. It was now part of my real life. I was not just learning English. I was living it. At the cafe where I worked, I started speaking more English too. Customers came from many countries. Some spoke a little Spanish. But most used English. I used to feel shy. Now I tried to speak with them. One day, a woman said, "Is this cake fresh?" I said, "Yes, we made it this morning." She smiled and said, "Perfect." I smiled back. I made a small mistake, but she understood me, and I understood her. That was enough. I also started to write one sentence in English every night. Just one sentence. Something simple like, "Today I spoke with a customer," or "I learned a new word today. Delicious." I called it my one-sentence diary. It helped me remember my small victories. It made me feel good. It helped me see how far I'd come. Every week, I also joined a group online. We met on video calls. People came from different countries: Japan, Brazil, Italy, and more. We talked about music, food, travel, and everyday life. Everyone made mistakes, but no one laughed. We all listened. We all learned. It was not perfect, but it was real. It was friendly. It was fun. I made a new friend in the group. His name was Toshi. He lived in Japan. We sent short voice messages to each other in English. Sometimes I told him about my job. Sometimes he told me about his dog. We practiced together. We helped each other. And we both improved. At work, I helped a new worker. He was from Brazil. His name was Rafael. He was shy, like I was in the beginning. I said to him, "I understand. I was like you. But it gets better. Just speak." Little by little, I showed him how to take orders. I spoke slowly and clearly. He listened and smiled. After 1 week, he started to speak more. I felt proud. I was not only learning English. I was now helping others learn too. Sometimes, I still made mistakes. I said the wrong word. I forgot something, but I did not stop. I just smiled and said, "Next time, I will say it better." I learned that mistakes are part of learning. They are not bad. They help me grow. At school, Sarah, our teacher, gave us one last idea. She said, "Every night, choose one object in your room. Speak about it in English. Say 3 or 4 sentences." I looked at my backpack and said, "This is my backpack. It is black. I take it to work. It holds my books." It was a simple task. But it helped me feel like English was part of my home, not just my school. After some time, I started to feel something different. I was not afraid to speak. I was not thinking about rules or grammar. I just spoke. I used easy words. I used short sentences, but I connected with people. I shared my ideas. I made friends. I helped others. One day, someone asked me, "Are you a student?" I said, "I was." But now I learn by myself. I read. I listen. I speak every day, he said. "That's the best way." I smiled. I knew he was right. That night, I sat down with a cup of tea. I thought about my journey. I remembered my first class. I remembered the sentence in my notebook. English is a bridge. Now, I was walking on that bridge. I was speaking. I was thinking in English. I was part of a bigger world. I wrote one more sentence in my diary. I am not a beginner now. I am an English speaker, and I will keep going. That was the truth. English was not just something I learned. It had become part of me, part of my life, part of my voice. David's journey began with one simple wish: to speak English. He did not want to be perfect. He just wanted to talk, to connect, to understand people. In the beginning, he was shy. He knew only a few words. He was afraid to make mistakes. But he took the first step, and that first step changed everything. He went to class. He met people from different countries. He met Sarah, a kind teacher who said, "English is a bridge." From that moment, David believed that English was not just grammar or rules. English was about people, about real life. David learned new words through reading simple stories. He didn't memorize long lists. He didn't feel pressure. He just read every day. Then he learned to speak using a method called shadowing. He listened and spoke at the same time. It helped his tongue and his mouth move like a real English speaker. He also learned to think in English. He started with small words, then short sentences, then full thoughts. One day, he even dreamed in English. That was a big moment. English slowly became part of his life. He used it at work. He helped a lost tourist. He made new friends. He joined an English group online. He even helped a new student from Brazil feel welcome. David was no longer just a learner. He was a speaker. He was a helper. He was growing. Now, what can we learn from David's story? The lesson is simple: start small, but never stop. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Read, listen, speak, and think in English every day. Even 10 minutes a day can change your future. Use English in your daily life. Talk to yourself. Write one sentence a day. Help someone else. English is not just a subject, it's a tool to live better, to connect deeper, and to grow stronger. Congratulations, dear listener, you have listened to the full story. That means you've already improved your English listening and understanding skills. Well done. Now here's a fun little question to see if you remember. What did David do to improve his pronunciation? A. He listened to English music only. B. He used the shadowing method to copy native speakers. Comment your answer below. A or B. I will read your answers. And if you enjoyed this story and it helped you learn English, please subscribe to the channel so we can bring you more helpful stories. Also, if you want to support us, feel free to donate. In the beginning, it's hard to create quality content without support. We do this for free to help you learn, but your support helps us continue. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. And remember, keep going, one word at a time, one day at a time. See you in the next story.